Hi guys, welcome to this Blender 2.8 tutorial. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be demonstrating how we can get a door to behave like a door by fixing its origin point and also limiting the rotation. So we're going to be introducing something known as object constraints. Now step 1 is going to be to position the 3D cursor where we want the origin point to go. So go into edit mode for your object, make sure it's selected, and then in vertex select mode, select the vertex that you want to act as the position for the new origin point. Then hold down Shift and press S on your keyboard to bring up the pie menu that will allow you to select where you want your cursor to go. So move down to where it says cursor to selected and then release Shift and S, and then you will find that the 3D cursor has moved to the selected vertex. Step 2, go from edit mode back into object mode, go to object, set origin, and then select origin to 3D cursor. Now the origin point is at the exact point where that vertex is. If we attempt to rotate this object, it will rotate around its origin point. Now if we rotate it around the Z axis, so R and then Z, it's beginning to open and close like a real door. However, there is no constraint to this, so we can easily rotate it through the geometry of the door frame. What we need to do is we need to add an object constraint that's going to stop our door from passing through the geometry of the door frame. So go to the tab that says Object Constraints when you hover over it. It should be above the Object Data tab. So left click and it should be empty. We don't have any constraints right now. So we're going to add an object constraint. And for the door, what we're looking to do is we're looking to limit the rotation of the door. Now, when we add this limit rotation constraint, it's effectively still turned off because we haven't ticked any of these boxes. So, we don't want our object to rotate on the x-axis. So we're going to tick this, and we're going to leave both of these values, the minimum and the maximum, to 0. We don't want it to rotate on the y-axis. So again, we're going to keep the minimum and maximum values to 0. If we test this now in a 3D viewport, so I'm just going to press the R key to rotate, you'll find that it's rotating only on the z-axis. So I'm going to pan my view just so it rotates a bit more easily. So you can see here it rotates on that axis. However, it's still going to pass through the frame of the door. So what we need to do is we need to limit the z-axis, and then we need to play about with these values until we get what we're looking for. So I want this to rotate out. So we're going to open the door like this. So I already know beforehand that I'm going to take the minimum value and I'm going to make it to a minus value. So I'm going to do a small one as a test. So I'm going to use minus 30 and then press enter. And two other things I want to do is I want to click on this for transform button and convert from world space to local space, because the object that you're creating might not have the same X, Y, and Z as the global space. You'll normally want your constraints to affect your object when it comes to its own local space. So make sure that that's ticked and keep the influence set to 1. Now if I enable the rotate tool and attempt to rotate on the Z axis, you'll see that we are able to open and close the door. All that's left now is to find the right value here so that we can fully open the door without it clipping into the geometry. And I'm going to keep this nice and simple. I'm just going to use a value of 90 degrees. So I'm going to left click and type in minus 90. Press enter. And now if we rotate, we can successfully rotate our door 90 degrees, so we can now open and close it like a real door. Thanks guys, and I will see you in the next Blender 2.8 tutorial.